Welcome. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Been a little quiet making videos lately, just wanted to let this election get passed because in reality, that's all that, for some reason, most of the entire world is paying attention to. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Yeah, Harris. I don't even know the president's names. I'm just kind of not in tune with all that because a lot what they were doing is in reality stuff that I've just been building up and holding in the storage to just continue to keep on trying to talk about to people. And one thing I want to talk about today is the concept of something that I was doing that I made a video saying I'm in reality sorry for doing what I'm doing. And that's a concept of trying to prove somebody wrong. When you're on this land trying to prove somebody wrong, you're not actually like living your truth. You're trying to make someone else believe your truth, not really just being it. You're like trying to force it, trying to make it be something when you're trying to prove to somebody who you are. And this comes down to any and everything. Simply, I mean, just everything in life. And then there's one thing that's going to happen in your life that you're going to really realize: the people that you thought you're trying to prove your ways to, your everything about you, you're good, and you got to keep on telling everyone that you're good. If you're good, you're good. You shouldn't have to prove that to somebody. You're happy, you're happy. You shouldn't have to prove that to nobody. You got a good dog, your dog's good. You shouldn't have to like prove, like, see, look, this is what's going on. Because there's going to come a day that, in reality, the day that you're already trying to prove yourself, the other person doesn't care. That's the, I believe, most interesting thing. They actually don't really care. And they're actually not really even caring to contemplate, to want to even try to like understand you, try to change to do what it is you do, on why you're trying to prove so hardly on why you're right and why you got it all, you got the information. And if everyone just followed you, then and everything would be so great with them. The more that you're trying to prove that, you're going straight up. This is the part of the arguing, the bickering, the fighting on why just me personally, like straight up, I quit on trying to fight and argue and bicker with people. Because if I'm already having to go to that and try to prove to you that I'm said like say right, you are for sure, most likely at almost 100% stance, not going to come along and want to change or even understand me with what it is that I'm saying. You're already just stuck in this is it. I can't prove to you that what you're doing and what you're saying, I can't change you. You're who you are. It just is what it is. The information that you've learned, the information that you've came to understand, that's just what it is. And that's where I believe we're having a huge division in the United States of division right now. Because people are just already dead set in the way that they want to be. Yet someone else is trying to come to you to say to you, no, it's like this. You're trying to prove them wrong, as opposed to seeing what's right about what they're doing and then you just living the said right way that you want to be able to live. Just live, just be in existence and doing what it is that you should be doing instead of trying to walk and say, oh, you're not doing that right. Maybe you should do it like this instead. Most cases, they don't care. And in reality, most people are going to get mad at you when you even try to come to them with saying some information like that. Today, I'm going to say this straight up. It just is what it is. Uh, Most people are just so sensitive today. They're so sensitive. Nothing wrong with being said emotional, but being so emotional is so sensitive that someone can just say something so minute to you and it could destroy you. It could make you tumble. It can make you want to lash out. It can make you want to fight. It can make you want to argue. It can make you just want to go into all this negative stuff because we're just the thing that I just see is today is unfortunately just we don't have thick skin anymore. The way the old terms that we used to use that we just got to get back to it, people. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. We need to like literally understand that and live by that because we're not doing that anymore. And words are starting to hurt people more today than sticks and stones, unfortunately, which is strange because I'm just not about the physical abuse. But at the end of the day, I'm not about the mental abuse. And at the end of the day, I can only allow someone to mentally abuse me. I could just go the other way. I could just be nowhere near it. I don't have to put myself in it. But today, unfortunately, people are putting them. So that's the part with being too sensitive, too emotional. That you're forcing yourself in it, knowing that it's hurting you, knowing that it's not doing anything good for you. It's an interesting thing of trying to prove yourself in your lifetime. That's a lot of us that just straight my age. I just know that a lot of what we do in our life is not based on what we are desiring. It's like we're trying to prove our parents wrong. We're trying to prove our brother or sister wrong. We're trying to prove our ex-wife wrong. or ex-husband, you're stupid, you're an idiot. You're trying to prove to your kids that you've changed, that you're different. You try to prove to your employer that you're the best one there. They should pay attention to you because you're proving yourself. You're proving to be the one that's just always the best of the best. When you're living like that, not everything, but most everything is just going to want to skip up on you because it's coming from a place of lack. Like you have to purposely try to get someone to understand you for them to just understand you, as opposed to just allowing them to understand you for just who you are and what you're all about. Not that you have to do extra to try to make yourself look or be or perceive to be a way. You're just you. I believe that's what's challenging a lot of folks today. This stuff with this presidential stuff has just been interesting. Instead of proving, why don't you just do it? Because this whole thing was going on. It's like someone was like, prove to why they're bad. Don't listen to them. They're no good. Look over here. Instead of just like doing, what do you want to do for the nation? Okay, this is what we want to do. But no, that's not what simply, like said, our so-called leaders even portray to us to be like. Just, you're right, they're always wrong, and always just keep proving on why you're right and why they're always wrong, as opposed to just living the right, being the right, so people could just actually see it and experience it and be around it, and not trying to put yourself to be something better or greater than someone else over there, but just actually just be you, be yourself. That's like, I don't know why it's so challenging to folks today to just be yourself, to just represent you. And stop trying to be and do and act and have what someone else has. Just do you. It's a very, to me, I thought it was like just a younger generation that's struggling with stuff like that. And I realized, no, folks that are like, my great grandmother and father was struggling with stuff the same way that we struggling today. That's why, to me, the Bible is an interesting book that, unfortunately, a lot of the world you want to pick and choose what you want in it to make it seem and be a way, and others just completely reject it. But it's fascinating that I can read a story. I can read a story about stuff going on in the book of Genesis, and it's my family going on right now, of that book written, thousands of years ago, and whoever wants to say if it was made up or it's not real, but yet they know my family. They know how the ins and outs of how my family works today. It's kind of like scary in a way. It's so scary because it's showing us just what we are as humans. I don't care if another human wrote it. That to me is impressive enough that if there's another human that knows how my family dynamic works, how the relationships work in my family, how the relationships work with how we interact and work with animals today, even how we are with nature. It's fascinating that if just it's not a book inspired by anything, but just another man, and then man thousands of years ago knows me, knows my family, knows what's going on. And a lot of that just, to me, comes down to just we're trying to prove something as opposed to just being it. I got to prove I'm the holiest. I got to prove I'm the best. I got to prove I'm the smartest. I got to prove I got the most. I got to prove I can outwit people. You got to prove yourself. Prove yourself to death is where you're proving yourself. And then the day that you finally realize, some folks just never realize this. Like for me, it's an interesting experience of life when I realized, like, Mark, nobody cares about you. Like, not saying that in like a, oh, boo-hoo, so sad of you, but really, no one cares about you. You care about you. As soon as you're not like in that like line, like that vision in that moment, they've moved on to other stuff already. Especially if you're trying to like battle and argue with somebody. They're not arguing with you all day. And if they are, there's some people that have that issue, I will say. It's not most, but some people have that issue that they just get stuck on someone and they can do some wild stuff. But like 99.9999999% of people, when they're not like actively interacting with you, they're not just like, oh, I can't stand this person. I don't like this person. I don't like this person. No, they're just living their life. You don't need to prove yourself to nobody because they actually don't care. They just don't care. And once I really understood that, like, you kind of almost gonna have like almost a meltdown in a way, because now that you're not proving yourself and you're just living and being, now you're trying to figure out more of exactly who you are, because you're not able to actually really experience who you are by trying to prove to somebody who you are, as opposed to just being who you are. And then that's the weird part with me, that I've realized that the more I'm me. I don't know. I don't know. I'll say this. I know what happened, but I don't know how and what in which way it happened. I don't know how I had something just changed inside of me, literally, again, overnight, one day, that just made me see this world completely differently. I just it doesn't make sense. But I do know that I stopped like caring about the lying. I stopped the hiding. I stopped worrying about what someone had to think. I stopped trying to prove. And that's where I could say I ran into a negative sense for a little bit there, because with this dog training stuff, everyone's got the right methods. And I just realized, like, no, no one has the right method. You do. You do. I don't. You do. I do what I do, that I work with my stuff, and it works. And I got stuck in that little bit of bickering and battling because someone's like, oh, that's not going to work. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work. Oh, I used to do it like this, and why I do it like this, and I didn't get no results like this, and just this silliness. Just trying to prove that I'm right. And then I realized I got out of that proving because I had to have a self-reflection. And then for this past couple of weeks, I'm experiencing and seeing things completely differently that I never thought that I would ever be able to witness in reality. Seeing things that are just very strange when you just let go of said world's expectations on you and you start to live for your own expectations. Like everyone, not everyone, but everyone's going to want to start to come around you now. Like more and more people, I don't know what it is, especially just the past couple of weeks. More and more people are just like, hey, Mark, how's it going? Hey, Anthony, how you doing? Just more and more just want to just keep, they start to actually want to get attracted to me. And for the most part, want to somewhat listen without me having to try to prove to you that I'm right. But just say, hey, this is what's going on. And they're like, oh, okay. And then we just move on. And more people are just wanting to figure out how to get more information because you're just living as opposed to just trying to prove what you're all about. You're being what you're all about. You're not trying to portray something. And when you're trying to prove something, again, you're not you. You're not being you. And that's why for me it's almost straight up. This, when it comes to animals, you know, I could explain to you how to create a better chicken coop. Ones that I seen today that, like my last meat birds, my best yet. I didn't lose a single one. Like I'm getting so good at raising chickens because I'm understanding how to house them, what to give them, like what to straight up neglect from them, because doing too much, you actually lose more by doing too much. You gotta just let them be. You gotta let them do what they do. And if they start picking on each other, you remove one. But even that, I can explain things like that. How to build a coop, what to not put in the coop, what to put in the coop, well, what kind of bedding to use that just really seems to work out for me like the best, and just things like that, that we can share these similar things. I can share how to rotational graze the cows, where to put the hay bales at, where to put the lines at, do stuff like that. But when it comes down to how did I be able to get to the point of being able to get my, like said, cows to be able to just want to hang out with me, relax with me? How have I been able to get my dogs to be able to understand now it's time to go savage and now we're not doing anything? I straight up don't think that's trainable. You can't learn that. You gotta just do. You gotta be you. You have to represent you. That I don't believe that there's just one way to just get things like that. There may be one way to house and contain animals, but as far as how we interact and work with them, I think that's where we're struggling, because everyone is trying to come at you with this is the language that they use. My proven system working with thousands of dogs. My proven system of working with thousands of people. My proven system of I mean, like, granted, yeah, putting a roof on a house. You got a proven system to put a roof on a house. Go hire that company. They clearly know what they're doing. But when it comes down to just the whole interaction of like living beings, you kind of you got to do what you do, because it even comes down with growing trees and veggies and spices and just growing stuff. You can get some tips and tricks of like where to start, but as far as what you are needing and looking for, you got to stop focusing on the ones that are trying to sell you the proven system, because they're trying to portray something to you that's not dumb. They're trying to say, oh, this is how to get it, but yet they don't actually live that way. That's the part that I think that most just aren't understanding that concept. When you're trying to prove something so much, you're trying to make, this is the problem. This is the problem. This is a huge problem right now. You're trying to make it work. Even when you see little flaws in it, You want to make it work. You got to make it work because it's your proven system. You have to, and you will like forget, you'll shove off the things that you're just like, that actually is not working right there, just to make it, make a sale for your provenness. And you're not actually, like said, living that. That's what's complicated. And that's what's complicated for me in reality, to continue to talk about working dogs the way that a lot of y'all are thinking that you need somebody's proven system to get help with. Because I'm just living. I'm living. Every day's not perfect. Today was a first hot mess in a while, I'll say. But it was a crazy situation just went down. There's a deer at the house, and it wasn't even running. It was a young one. It was hurt. I don't know, it looked like it got hit by a car, and it was just standing still. And all the dogs look at it like, holy crap, there's a deer right there. And they were all like, we're about to go get that deer. And the deer can't run. So they're all like sniffing it, hounding it, and I'm trying to get the dogs away, and they're all like, I was just like, lay down. That didn't work. I was like, go home. That didn't work. And I had to like stand there and do my, what just works that I know works. This mine. I claimed that deer in that moment because it didn't run. So I stood there and I said, y'all, get the heck away. This is my deer. You can't have it. And then they all looked at me and said, oh, okay, well, they all backed down and walked away instantly at that moment. But when I was like trying to like be said fast and hostile almost in a way of like trying to get them to get out of there, it was like we were playing as teammates, as opposed to me just putting my foot down and saying, that's mine. You can't have it no more. Because I do that with Bones out here. That's why my dogs don't, for the most part, fight for him. I mean, Shadow will still get some attitude because I don't know why, but I never want to take that out of him. But they even him, he won't go to a point of putting damage on a dog because it's mine. Everything out here, I don't care what y'all do, it's mine. I've taken, like, said, the ownership of it. And it calms everything down. That's me. That's me. I don't even know where this comes from inside of me to do, especially, this is the part that is most fascinating, because you don't need help until like something crazy is going on that you have to, that's the part of just the differences of us as humans. Some people are different in this sense. This is why for me, you know, I wasn't big in the whole shooting in war stuff, but some guys, I don't know how y'all can keep going to battle. Keep going to battle. People shooting at you, people bombing you, and you just like line up at that door ready to break in that door, knowing that more than likely 3 people in that house are ready to kill you. You gotta be quick on your feet when like something extreme is going on. For me, when it comes down to stuff with animals, something extreme that's going on, it's just time slows. I look at it, I'm like, scrap that. We doing this now. Let's make it happen. You can't even train for that. That's the part with me, straight up. Put a leash on the dog, folks. You can't train for the extreme, for the chaos when it's just that 1%er. You can't train for it. It's going to happen. And the more that you try to train for it, the worse off you're going to be in the end, because you're going to use something proven. You're not being yourself. You're not being you. You're not representing what you're all about. You're wanting to do and be what someone else is. Yeah, you can do that. Again, you want to build a chicken coop? I mean, I've been doing stuff on the cheap. And in reality, I'm trying to figure out how to do it with no screws, no nothing, and just stuff off the land. That's what I've been doing. That's my coop in the back. I've been back there before. My coop in the back. There's nothing to that thing. Nothing to it. There's a tarp that I have as a shelter. There's nothing holding that thing together. And they all stay in there, mainly because I use the dog to tell them to get in there, stay in there. But I'm realizing that I can give you some information like that. I can give you some real good information. But when it comes down to that, when that chaos happens and what to do, that's the part that we're I don't use this word, but we're getting soft. We're getting sensitive. We're getting too emotional. We're getting in a stance of just, I don't know how to say this other than just saying it straight the way that just came in my brain that moment. We're allowing the animals to start to control us the way that we are as humans, I'm going to say, not the strongest of beings on this planet. Human to most animals, we wouldn't survive. Straight up, we wouldn't survive. We can't survive because of our technological advances, how we could put stuff together, how we could build shelters to keep the ants and the bugs and the mosquitoes and everything away, all the way down to build weapons to be able to keep bears and lions and everything to stay away. But us to them, we're nothing. And it's like we're going back into that by getting too sensitive. We're allowing these dogs to rule us. And they don't function that way. This is the biggest thing that, I just sent a couple of pictures of someone recently of like my rabbits in the cage, for instance. Someone would look at that and say, that's no good. That's wrong. But not realizing that if you've never been involved in it, shut up. Because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know how to be able to actually get them to be able to relax and calm down. It may not look pretty to us as a human today because we're getting too sensitive, too soft. And it may make getting your emotions and in your feelings about that's not right. But at the end of the day, that is what's best for that animal, to be able to give it the best life possible. For one, I'm making sure it knows that it's safe. That's why at the end of the day, I don't really care for, say, a crate for a dog, but the dog needs to have a safe place that I can't go in, that I can't go around, that it's off limits to me even. To everything in the household that's off limits, so that it has its place that it can go, knowing that if it's there, you're safe. There's nothing to worry about here. And that's what we as humans have done. This is the part where I believe we're getting soft, because we've done this with our houses. We go in our home, we lock the door, and everyone's got security systems today hooked up and got the police on call every don't call the police around here. They don't show up. I call the sheriff on this deer, and it's like 7 hours later and they're still not here. don't call the police around here. But I probably even should say that out loud, but that must mean that my area's halfway pretty safe, I guess I can say. But again, we're too soft because of that. We're soft. We go in our homes and then we can hide away and keep ourselves safe from the said danger that's outside. And it's making us not straight up be the predator that we're supposed to be on this planet. And we're allowing these other animals to come in and start to control us around. Control isn't the word, but just take from us. That's a better way of saying it. Stuff that I always would question when looking at my dogs. Y'all don't like me. You just like this stuff that I keep giving to you. If I stop giving you this food, will you still be here? That's part of me on why it's crazy. I've been testing that. That's why, I like the Dalmatian. I like my Border Collie. Shadow, but I absolutely enjoy my Shepherd because I've tested and proven that. I don't need to feed the dude for him to want to be with me. I put food out there, he would go get it. I didn't have to feed him. I didn't have to do nothing. I just let him out. And when he was hungry, the dude would go out and go get some food, come back, and he still would be with me. I'm like, dude's with me, and I don't even need to feed him. He's willing to be there with me. I was like, that's a loyal, that's a loyal dog right there. That's loyal. And that to me comes because, for one, I give him that sense of safety, and two, I'm not allowing him to just push me around and rule me and run me. He understands the boundaries here. He understands the leadership positions here. And the dog wouldn't want to be with me if I was under that leadership of you better or else. He's going to run away from me because that's how a lot of dogs have been for me. I just witnessed that with Shadow earlier today, realizing that as much as I've been pushing him so hard since he was born out here, but since he came out here, the more that when a dangerous situation goes on, the more he's looking at me like, I don't know. Whereas the Dalmatian, a dangerous situation goes on, she shoots right back to me because there's no hostile stuff going on there. And because they understand the leadership here. The leadership is, I'm going to keep you safe. I'm going to give you access. Because even later on, I leashed up the Dalmatian. I took her right back to the deer and we just hung out. I let her sniff it and hang out with it. And the deer was just kind of getting its rest. I don't know where it is right now. But it was getting some rest for a moment. And I just allow her to say, you know what, not now, but we can later. And it just builds the bond even more and more. But that comes down to proper leadership that, again, I can't say anything to prove that to you. The more I tried to prove it, the more I'm not helping anyone out. I'm not even helping my own self out in reality. I'm not helping anything about me. Because the time that we need the help is a time that we need to stop. This is the part where it's complicated, because religion likes to push, Jesus is your savior. He's got you. He's got everything for you. You don't need to worry. No, you need to worry. You need to, I don't want to say worry, but you need to do stuff. You can't just sit back and everything's going to be good. You need to do stuff. There's no savior that's going to come and just take everything away from you and life is just going to be perfect and blissful from now on. No, we got to do stuff. And that's the part where when the chaos is going on, you got to do stuff. You can't just run away and hide. And that's unfortunately what most folks are doing today. You're running away and hiding in your home. You're running away and hiding in your cell phone. You're running away and hiding, as opposed to just getting up and dealing with it and figuring out a new path. Because that's what's going to thicken your skin up some, not make you be so soft and so sensitive. That's going to make you have to have no choice but to have to just deal with it. But today, it's almost like not almost like it pretty much is like we just push it off to someone else. We could sell that to someone else. We could just give up on it. We could throw it away. I can get rid of it. You can do all of that to it, as opposed to just having to do what we have to do. Something I can say, especially with my Johnny man. I'd always known that I never needed, I said pet dog. I just, non-high, he's decent energy, but not nowhere near what like my other dogs are. And I always knew that. And I only got him to just prove to myself why, in reality, I shouldn't got him in the first place of already knowing this today. Because all I try to do is prove something, but prove to myself that I can convince him to stop fence fighting and doing the weird, crazy stuff. That I was like, if I can figure this out, then I'll be the magical dog trainer. I can help anybody with all your issues. And the more I was proving to myself of that, the more I realized that's not true. That's not true. And it's an unfortunate thing today of realizing that, straight up, I don't have a purpose for him, but yet he's mine. He's with me, and I don't have a choice. I got to keep taking care of the guy. I can't just push it off somewhere else. I can't just sell it away. I can't just hire someone to come in and do something to change him, to make him me want to like him more, make him want to like me. I can't do that. But that's what's going on today. That's why dog training is like so popular, because you think that you can buy your way to get yourself being in a better place. It's just not going to work that way. You need to understand, for one, just the concepts of when something crazy is going on, you can't just run away from it. You can't just run. You got to do something. You got to make something happen. When you get scared, you get nervous, you can't just run away. But every day when you're trying to prove who you are, I'm strong, I'm tough. When the realness happens, that's when it matters. But the main thing is, when people are walking around saying that all day, you're not that. You're trying to be something, but that's not who you are. And that's what is destroying every human being right now. You say, oh, I'm good, I'm great, everything is great with me. If you have to say that, there's something wrong. Something wrong. Because otherwise, everyone would just like see that things are good. Things should be fine. If it's fine, it's fine. I don't need to say it over and over all the time. There's something wrong if that's what's going on. You're trying to prove that you're right. You're trying to prove that you're fine. You're trying to prove that things are good. But you're not. That's why you have to prove it. And that's not being who you are. That's being a false representation. That's the concept of wearing a mask. That's not being you. And the moment that you start to be you, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle, because when you're no longer trying to prove to somebody else, but only just said prove to yourself, you're not even going to know what to do in reality. You're going to be at a complete loss, because you're used to like trying to be something as opposed to just actually being it. And when you're actually being what you're trying to prove to be, you're going to notice that a lot of the issues that you had with people and stuff is going to almost just disappear. The issues you got going on with your dog, that's one thing, People always use this stuff, fake it till you make it. That may work when it comes down to trying to sell some bricks to somebody that don't need bricks. You want to look a certain way. But when it comes down to relationships, no, you can't fake it. You got to be it. Because you're not going to be able to keep up with the fakeness. You're not going to be able to keep up with that. You're not going to be able to just walk around, I'm not scared, I'm fine. You can't keep up with that. And the problem with the dog is, they know you're lying. Straight up, they know you're lying. They know something's wrong. And that's why a lot of people are struggling today. Because you're trying to prove something to somebody. And the unfortunate thing why so many people have dogs today and why the price, I mean, why does a dog cost money is one thing that's going to be strange to me still today. I'm thinking about this concept. Like, especially like, but pet dogs should be dogs that just didn't make it for work in reality. And, but the reason is that there's these dogs that are 4, 5, 6, 8. I mean, some of these dogs are $50,000 for a puppy because you're trying to prove to somebody that I could buy that. You're trying to prove something. And if you're doing that up front, you're failing right away. That's why for me and mine, I got issues. Everything not perfect. I'm never gonna say, oh, it's just the best. But just going on this, I went a 14-mile run with this Dalmatian, Monday. And she was pulling hard the whole way. I was so impressed. But that was my goal. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. I want her to feel that harness and just run. Chase every squirrel, every deer, every caterpillar, every butterfly, just go. Go, 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 go. That's what I wanted her for. That was my goal. And I'm starting to get that because I'm not trying to prove to somebody. But then I started messing up with her when I first got her because I was trying to prove this. I know what I'm doing to be able to get these dogs relaxed. I know what I'm doing to be able to get these dogs to trust me. I know what I'm doing. And I can't prove that. I got to just live and just be in existence. Thank you. Something I'm going to say, I'm going to make a whole video on this. But I just want to give a little snippet right now. That'll probably be my new style that I do from now on. The end of this video is going to be the start of the next one. I'm just going to keep on daisy chaining those along. So I don't know what it is. I always kind of have something extra to talk about, especially when I get to talking about stuff. I got something new to add on to talk about. I kind of just want to do something a little more formal with what my channel is so that I can piece it together in a way of making it more presentable. That's the word I want to use. But something that's fascinating to me that I hear a lot, and just my own comments and other people's that live in settings like this. Of course your dogs are nice. They live on a farm. It's a good life. That's why it's peaceful. Of course they're calm. Of course the humans are better because they live on a farm. And I'm going to put a challenge to that and say that's a lie. Because if that was the case, more people would be doing it today as opposed to less. Because more people would want to do it knowing that that is what brings peace. That is what brings joy. That is what brings freedom. That is what brings more. But it actually doesn't. Because that's why, unfortunately, most farmers today are, 60, 70 years old? There's not many younger ones because the kids see it and the kids are like, yep, nope, I'm not doing that. I don't want to be anywhere near that. I want to go off and do something else. So the concepts of life must be good and it's better, it's not true. Because we would be going the opposite direction today. More people would be going further into learning how to use the land that we have out here in the whole world still. We're not filled. We got the perceived notion that we are, but no, there's still a lot of space for us to be able to go to. But we can't do that because we got to live close because you got to go to your work there. But if we're all out doing this, it would be different. Because it's not peaceful. It's not simple. It doesn't bring calmness. It doesn't do any of it. It brings frustration. It brings anger. It brings rage. It brings confusion. It brings a lot of strife, a lot of mess, a lot of hard times, a lot of just difficult decisions that you're just like, man, I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. It's not just so chill and laid back. It's some of the hardest challenges I think a human being is going to have living on this planet. It's how to make everything for themselves and not trying to prove to someone who they are, but prove to themselves, their own selves, not about what anybody thinks about it, but to their own selves that I can do this. You're going to it's a hard life. That's why people are getting away from it. There's the one side of it, people are, oh, it's because of the big companies and they're taking it. No, the big companies took it away because nobody wanted to keep it going. No one wants to raise chickens. I mean, if you could do easier, less manual labor type work. Me moving this hay bale out here today, man, I thought I was about to hurt myself because these things weigh like plus 1,000 pounds. Thankfully, they're circles so I can roll it. But man, trying to push that, That's some hard work. Hard work. Just at the end of the day, in reality, this is the part with the consumerism that's hard. All that hard work just to be able to eat and be able to just live. You're not going to have like fancy cars, a fancy house, and fancy stuff, fancy clothes, and fancy phones, and fancy cameras, and fancy vacations. You're working that hard just to eat, just to maintain, just to stay alive. Why would anybody want to do that? I've been thinking deep lately.